MLB The Show 25 just had their in-depth live stream going over all the new upgrades in franchise mode. This year, there's big changes to the overall presentation and a complete rework to free agency. However, I do have a couple downers, a few removed features, and a confirmation that online franchise will not be returning in MLB The Show 25.
And then to address all the chats off the bat, online franchise is not in MLB The Show 25. Today's stream is all about what is in MLB The Show 25.
That being said, let's take a look at everything that's brand new in franchise mode this year. Let me know in the comment section what you guys are excited about, maybe not so excited about. Leave a like if you guys enjoy the videos, subscribe to the channel, and let's check out franchise gameplay in MLB The Show 25. This year, there's big upgrades to the presentation, making your franchise mode feel more personable than ever and more realistic, like you're watching an actual televised baseball broadcast. They do so in a couple different ways. There's new score bugs this year, as you can notice in this Red Sox versus Baltimore Orioles gameplay. Expect lots of graphic pop-ups displaying important information for your simulated league. Things like updated standings as they're happening around Major League Baseball, a look in at award races. As you can see here, the contenders for American League Rookie of the Year. You'll see live look-ins from the minor leagues, checking out some of the game's top prospects. Big breaking news across the league is now front and center. I've said it before, this is the lifeblood of franchise mode, making whatever is happening in your own simulation feel lifelike, giving attention to all of it, and having the game put this information front and center so you can see. Brand new lineup screens look lively. There's more player presentation this year, giving notice to just how good these guys are on the field, showing their statistics as you go across the season. A very cool new feature, when you take a look at a player's player card, you can notice what year and what round they were actually drafted when they came into Major League Baseball. You can also flip over and look at their most recent game logs. This information is crucial in deciding trades, seeing how good a player has been of late. There's been lots of discussion about graphics for MLB The Show 25. Of course, this year has cut support from the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, causing many people to have high expectations about improved graphics. And I don't think they've necessarily seen a giant leap forward, but I personally do, as someone who plays the game quite regularly, notice a bit of an upgrade in the lighting aspect. The ballpark atmosphere looks to be lit a little bit more lifelike, so I do like that. Also, the devs noted a couple changes to player models, such as the pants and their belts looking a bit more true to life and realistic. As we talked about, there's 2 brand new public address announcers in the MLB The Show 25 commentary team.
We've also added Adrian Roberson and Rennell Brooks Moon.
Which will once again be led by Boog Sciambi and Chris Singleton. The biggest change to franchise mode for MLB 25 has been in the free agency system. It has been completely reworked. In MLB 25, it is a 16-week process during the off-season where on a week-to-week basis, you get to set 3 free agent priorities. You place those 3 players on your big board. Not a very big board, is it? Three players? And the longer those players are on your big board, the more interest in signing with your club. There's different factors in why a player would have motivation to sign with you, such as team fit. Do their skills fit in with your organizational needs? Do you have a player blocking at their current position? Are you a contender? A player might want to only play for a winner. The devs also made mention that there is increased motivation for a player to sign to the team they were most previously on, or from a team that's located where that free agent is originally from, or in an international player's case, do they have other players from that same country? Those things come together to give an initial interest of a certain free agent to sign with you, and then you can do things such as adding them to your big board to increase their motivation to sign. Once the player reaches 50% motivation, you can offer them a contract. Do note that when you offer a player a contract, that takes a week to process, so they don't instantly react to your offer, accept or decline. You have to still use up a big board slot for that week while you wait for their decision. From my point of view, it definitely seems like it's prioritizing you to give them a good offer the first time around, so you don't have to waste that slot to negotiate week to week while they're declining multiple contract offers from you. Reflecting real-life baseball, the biggest of the free agents set the market. So in many cases, you have to wait for the biggest and best names to come off the board first before more of the middling free agents will sign. So again, my perspective would be go after the big free agents first, and you should still have plenty of time to sign the mid-tier guys as the weeks go on. While you're going throughout free agency, you'll hear rumors of other teams going after players, and in certain cases, you can actually see that. I think this adds another layer of realism, the rumors that we hear across the internet and the buzz around certain free agents, and you'll also get in-game notifications when rivals are targeting certain free agents, which kind of gives you a kick in the pants to tell you, do you want to go after this player, potentially steal them from your rivals, or if nothing else, drum up the price, making it more difficult on them. As you start to offer contracts and see players come off the board, you'll definitely notice that free agent values are far more realistic this year than ever before. Such as Kyle Tucker, when he signs a 10-year deal with the Los Angeles Dodgers, that overall money is about $400 million, which is a lot more realistic than contracts would have been in the past. And for the most part, I think what they've showed as far as overall player value is far improved from previous titles. There are a couple instances where I don't necessarily agree. Again, like Vladimir Guerrero Jr., his supposed demand is about half of what he's actually in real life publicly demanded. The devs chalk that up to first basemen are typically valued lower than other positions, which I understand, but I do think that they should look more into certain instances. A guy like Vlad is one of the biggest names on the free agent market. It's very obvious that he's going to get more than 7 years, $26 million a year. So there are some nitpicks that I would make, but otherwise, I do think the overall player value is much better this year. Qualifying offers have also been updated. They are now going to reflect real life value as they do in Major League Baseball. And players headed to arbitration are now also going to see more realistic money. The player and the team come up with their proposed value, and if they can't reach an agreement together, it'll go to an arbitrator, and eventually the price will be met. I think the free agent system is very engaging. I appreciate the back and forth report that this is going to create, a sort of carrot and stick situation. My hope is that this can help create many unique opportunities within franchise mode, that if I play 5 different franchises, you don't always see the same free agents go for the same money each time, and they don't always have the same motivations towards different teams. I hope that this is going to create a difference, so not every franchise experience is the exact same. And the overall values for the players being improved is going to make the game feel a lot more realistic. It's going to help prevent seeing your Juan Sotos signing to the Marlins. You should hopefully see Vladimir Guerrero Jr. when he's in free agency not wind up with Sacramento Athletics. So while there's many things I do like about franchise additions coming into MLB 25, there's also some drawbacks that I am concerned about, such as the contracts. The big bullet point is free agency. But if you take a closer look at when they're offering contracts to players within the new free agency setup, you'll notice the only two things you can change are the contract length and the overall money. Compare that to MLB The Show 24, you had an option to, well, offer options. Player options, club options. You could choose to backload a contract or front load a contract, offering tons more versatility than what you can in MLB The Show 25, and I don't know why these features would have been removed. In my opinion, they're pretty crucial. Offering a player option, opt-outs essentially, is huge in today's game of baseball. Especially you notice agents like Scott Boras, how many of his clients in the past couple of years have signed those 1+1, 1 year guaranteed and then an opt-out option for that player after the first year. You're seeing that so much, and that's been taken away from the game. Also, front load and back load contracts. Think of a team with budget constraints like the Baltimore Orioles. They're a very good team that is ready to contend right now, and they've got lots of young and cheap talent. Their best players like Adley Rutschman, Gunnar Henderson, Jordan Westburg, Colton Cowser make very little money. And if they wanted to improve their team in free agency, they might want to look at front-loading contracts. So while Gunnar Henderson is making $800,000 a year, if they bring in a free agent, they can offer them more money right now so their payroll doesn't inflate as those younger guys eventually get to their later on arbitration years. It smooths out the process, but you can't do that in the game now with the new free agency system, and that's a big bummer. Another thing, talk about the Baltimore Orioles, that I'm not necessarily loving is the trade logic. Now, they made a point of saying the trade logic has been addressed and improved. However, you look at this trade, the Seattle Mariners offering Julio Rodriguez. In exchange, the Baltimore Orioles would send back Gunnar Henderson, Ward Hardy, and Jordan Adams. A 3-for-1 trade with the top 10 player in baseball and Gunnar Henderson getting shipped out. This trade actually got accepted. And I understand there's an argument to be made about Gunnar Henderson and Julio Rodriguez controllability. At this point in the franchise, Gunnar Henderson would be in his first of 3 arbitration seasons, so he would start to be making more money up until he eventually would hit free agency, would get a big contract extension with Baltimore, or potentially leave. Meanwhile, Julio Rodriguez already has signed an extension. He's going to be team control for like 10 or so years, about $20 million AAV, and there's also a club option later down the line. But I don't think this is a very realistic trade. I mean, we're talking Gunnar Henderson, and this is no slight to Julio Rodriguez, but we're talking about Gunnar Henderson. I just don't think this trade is a good example at showcasing that trade logic has been addressed and improved. Otherwise, to the free agent system, I still think there's more that could be done. I think the new implementation is a bit half-baked. I don't like that you can only really have 3 guys on your board at any given time. You're obviously talking to a lot more than 3 players in free agency at once in real baseball. I think it would be better if it was like NCAA 25, where you got an allotted number of hours that you could spend on each individual player, and each individual player would have a specific approach that would suit them best. There's so much more depth in that college football game where you truly have to think and address what that player's wants and needs might be. Not every player has the same desires. Some are solely interested on the prospect of going pro. Some want to be close to home. Some care about how good a program has historically been. There's a lot of different approaches when it comes to recruiting that I think they could really borrow here in MLB The Show. In this case, all that is really up to you is, do you put them on your board, and how much money do you offer them? There's a lot more going into these free agent pitches than that. And obviously, I want to see the new features, online franchise. Again, how can you not have that back in the game? It's such a need. Every other sports game on the market, the major ones, have online franchise. That's something that really needs to be brought back. I would love to see the old owner mode stuff come back to the game, where you got to set up the marketing strategy. You could confer with TV networks and how much money you would get for them broadcasting your games, and all that money you have to factor in to upgrading your ballpark, making sure that the team playing for travel is working well and well maintained. How much are you going to charge for a hot dog? Do you want to schedule promotional giveaways for your fans? All these things used to be in the game, but they took it away. And more things to flesh out the real world of baseball. The competitive balance tax, that isn't in the game. The international signing pool, that's not in the game. There's a lot that they could do. I'll once again say that we're on a staircase. We're going one step at a time. It's a very slow ways up to get to the ultimate goal of a great franchise mode. But in order to have a great franchise, I do think you need player values to work properly. And this seems to be a good leap for that. However, I don't know why things like contracts had to get, in the crossfire. Why did that have to go away? The ability to offer club options to players, the ability to offer a backloaded contract. These are pretty innate, ubiquitous things that for some reason they're taking. But overall, I think there's more good than bad here. I don't think it's a detraction to franchise as a whole. Is this a must buy if you're a franchise player? I'd probably say no. I'll have to get my hands on the game myself for sure. Play through a couple franchises, go throughout the free agent process to see just how good is this logic. Make a couple trades, see if we can bend the wills of these other GMs and give you more of my thoughts, Len. But right now, just not sure if this is enough of an upgrade to warrant a $70 purchase if you're just a franchise player alone. But that's my opinion. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Franchise new upgrades for MLB The Show 25. Let me know what you guys think. Thank you guys for watching this one. If you enjoyed, leave a like down below, and thank you for watching.